Hey guys, this is Spark Plus Ultra here, and this is my part 2 on what if Deku had Usagi abilities. Keep your mind sharp, and I hope you like this video and hope you subscribe. Zawa and Suku got out of the police station, and Zawa gets him in the car and says, "Alright, Suku." While driving to UA, he tells Suku the conditions. You must not tell anybody that you're the Usagi Ronin. And Suku says, "Yes, I will honor that. I'll hold those vows." And Zawa says, "Good. And 2, we'll have to work on your discipline." And Suku says, "But I have samurai disciplines can't get you that far." And Suki says, "Right, I also studied on..." "Yes, you studied a little on ninjutsu. I noticed. You weren't usually familiar to the big city. I also noticed. You were focusing more on the ground than the city rooftops, which I had to get you out of there." And Suki says, "Right, all I need to learn to deal with this." And Zawa says, "Luckily, I'll help you learn those disciplines. But who taught you those martial arts? Sure as hell wasn't samurais." And Suki says, "Yes, but also my father kicked me out of the dojo, so it was a hard time. But I did meet somebody that taught me a few lessons when I gave my aid to him." And Zawa says, "Who was this guy?" "He was an old man that had a rat quirk. But he only taught me the basics. Ninjutsu, the hand-to-hand, using any weapon you can find or make, and also creating your own weapon from different types of metals and make it your own." And Zawa says, "So that's why you have a ninja katana, a ninjato. That is a interesting weapon choice, even for your fighting style." And Suki says, "You really analyzed me down. You are also a master at bow and probably a spear, right, Suku?" And Suki says, smiling at him with a nod to him. And Zawa says, "Alright, we're here." And Zawa stops at a parking space on the road, and Suki walks out of the car and sees a big school and walks out of closes the door out of seeing the UA. Suki says, "This is bigger than my hometown school." And Zawa says, "Well, I'll be training you for a bit, but I know a few certain martial arts that could help your adaptability." And Suki says, "Right, you're also going to teach me a bit on how to climb on walls, right?" And Zawa says, "Not just that, but you can also learn something else from me." And having his scarf floating in the air a bit, and using the scarf to grab Suku's hand. And Suki says, "I see you're gonna also teach me the quick martial art to deal with and dispatch people real quick by using knots. Am I right?" And Zawa smirks and says, "You know how this weapon is?" And Suki says, "Of course. The person who taught me ninjutsu says this is one of other martial arts of Kursari Gama." Or, and Zawa says, "This scarf is made out of one of the toughest metals that could help out with dealing with tying and to apprehend him." And Suki says, "Bring hell to me, and I will endure every nature there is." And Zawa says, "That's what I like to hear." Over 3 months have passed, and Suku has trained Zawa on a changing and using his tactics. And Zawa says this, and a ninja must think quick. A ninja must endure. A ninja must know and when to deal with in battle. But a ninja must know when to quit or when to keep his distance. You learn some pyrotechnics, an advanced form of it. Seems like your teacher really knows what he is doing. And Suki says, "Thank you." And Zawa says, "But you're still not on the level of a true ninja, or how they usually are. But you're about a very good tactical thinker." And Suki says, "Alright, isn't it time to be a, how you say, a student here?" And Zawa says, "Yes, but the zero pointer was being a little more dangerous." Zawa scratches his cheek and says, I was going to ask you something." And Suki says, "Hi, I will honor our deal and do what you command." And Zawa says, "Well, I got a plan in mind that you could take out any person that couldn't take you out, or doesn't cooperate, or probably doesn't say. They need to think on their foot and think about saving others instead of fighting a person that could have an advantage of. You're about all around. You could fight from a distance. You could keep a steady arm. You can use hand-to-hand combat when you are disarmed. And most importantly, you could easily trick them. But we'll have to go easy on them." And Suki says, "Hi." And Zawa says, "Question, any other gear that you wear besides those?" And Suki says, "No." "Oh, no wonder I smell. And Zawa smirks. And Suki says, I don't like where this is going." And Zawa says, "Alright, I got a plan in mind." And Suki says, okay. Then, the students in each room have completed the task. About some of them, and about few have failed. And when Suku was coming back out of the villain performance, and Zawa asked Zuki, "So, how was it?" Suki said, "It was interesting. I liked the menace of that red-haired spiky kid, but it was hard to take serious with the kid with blonde hair with spike. But he was dangerous. I was taking it easy, but he wants to push it further. I just let him win on that one." And Zawa says, "Anything else?" And Suki thinks, right, I fought the frog girl. Man, her frog quirk is amazing." And Zawa says, "How so?" And Suki says, "I'm a big fan of Frog and Toad, because Jiraiya, not the anime, the real mythology." And Zawa says, "Get to the point." And Suki says, Jiraiya befriended toads and frogs, and they're no different. So it's always my dream to befriend a frog quirk user." And Zawa says, "Well, easy to say. You're going to Class 1A. She might be in it." And Suki says, "Really? Oh, I'm geeking out of it." And Zawa says this, "Stop your geeking and get out of those. We don't want to spoil the surprise for your classmates." And Suki says, "Alright." Then, on the next day, Suki was getting into his UA uniform and waits on Azawa to introduce himself. And Suki then thinks, right, he's gonna be there, so I better be coming quick. And Suki rushes to Class 1A and sees Azawa sleeping on the door. And Zawa says, good morning, Suki. Suki says, good morning, Zawa-sama. Why are you... Can't blame me, but my eyes are sore. You used a bit on your quirk, didn't you? Yeah, I stayed up all night as well. And Suki says, well, you always have to rest on every day. And Zawa says, yeah, that's every rule in every session. In any training, you must rest to get the energy. And Suki says, well said. And then, while Bakugo and Ida were arguing, Zawa opens the door and says, alright, you guys, sit down. And all the students look at a tired old man and have no clue who he is. But they sit down, and Zawa says, my name is Zawa, and I'm your teacher. And all the students were silent and looking at Zawa. And Zawa says, 23 minutes, not good enough. Whatever. You got a student that has came from a long road. Meet Suku Midoriya. And Suku was walking to the door and sees the red spiky-haired kid, the blonde spiky-haired badmouth kid, and the frog girl. And Suku sparkled his eyes and says, it's you! And Sue looks at Suku. Me, Kero? And Suki says, it's an honor to meet you. And Sue says, have we met before? And Suki says, yes, I am. And Azawa says, yeah, you didn't recognize him? He's the one that fought you in the training. And all the students were shocked to see Zuku in here. And Bakugo says, wait, you're the guy that I wanted to fight in the stupid dark? No, you just insulted me. And Zuki says, man, you're so annoying. I never thought to deal with a aggressive head with a high temper. And Bakugo says, what did you say? And Zawa says, that's enough. Now, Zuku, sit down. And Zuki says, yes, Zawa-sama. And all the students say, Sama? And Zawa says, alright, now we're doing a little training. And Zawa says, alright, go outside and show me what your quirks can do. And all the students have changed. And Kirishima says, man, I didn't thought I was dealing with the guy that I had to defend to help others. And Sukiyu says, it is an honor to see you, my red spiky hair friend. I am glad to see you're not hurt. And Kirishima says, I figured those spike weapons weren't dangerous. I didn't feel any sharpness to them. Yes, they were dulled. There were more bludgeon than actually hurting to a piercing. And Kirishima says, still was surprised that you were in there. And Suki says, of course, I was studying on martial arts. What are you, a ninja? And Zuki says, that's one of them. Wait, you are? And all the male classmates were surprised. And Zuki says, oh, it's nothing special. I was just testing your abilities. And Azawa told me to do it, or else I'll have a little problem. And all this boys say, little problem? And Zuki says, it's nothing. And all the students and Zuki are outside. And Zawa says, alright, the highest would be Bakugo. And Bakugo says, watch this, rabbit ears. And Zuki says, rabbit ears? And Bakugo throw the ball at the same cannon as usual. And Zawa explains if one of them gets last, and Suki doesn't buy his lie, and then they'll be out of UA. And Suki rolls his eyes and says, figures he'd do this, but this is gonna be fun. And Suki was taking first place on running and long runs because of his quirk, Rabbit. And his jumps give him a high advantage on taking first. Strength, that'll be, I guess third, and agility, second. But throwing, that's one that he can't, but fifth, I say. And Zawa says, alright, Zuku Midoriya's quirk is about 4th place on versatility. And Zawa looks at Mineta, and Mineta says, crap, I'm in last! I'm gonna be kicked out for sure. And Zawa says, Mineta, get better with your quirk. And Mineta says, wait, he's not? And Zuki smiles and says, you guys bought that quite well. And all the students except Momo says, you already knew? And Momo says, yes, it was just a lie. And Zuki says, I've been around him 3 months, and he uses those tactics. And all the students say, you should have told us, you two. And Momo says, really? And Zuki says, why should we? It would not be effective. And one of the students say, you should always tell us sometimes, you two. And Zuki confused on what they mean by that. But the next day, Zuki goes into his UA dorm and sleeps and says, that was a good challenge, and I can't believe I made lots of friends. And Zawa says, in a figment of his memory, and when Zuki remembers what Zawa said, but don't forget, you can't tell anybody your Usagi room. And Zuki says, well, it won't bother anybody. They can't figure it out. And Zuki sleeps and rests next day. I hope you liked this video and hope you subscribe. See you next time. Plus Ultra.
Fly like a tiger, walk in the park, play the hero till I die. Fly like an eagle, soar through the sky.